Hello, my pottery posse. I hope you're doing great today. I'm doing great, thanks. Today we are talking about something wonderful, something that we've semi-talked about already. Underglaze. Test tiles. No, but for real though, we're talking about underglaze test tiles. It's gonna be fabulous. I hope you are ready to make some test tiles with me. But we've got a lot on our plate to do today, so let's go! Okay, so let's get started by wedging. Wedge more than you think you need to because air bubbles. Go ahead and start by slamming your clay on the table to make a nice, smooth, clean slate for you to start rolling out your clay with. Remember to always flip your clay over every single time, between every pass. Don't ever forget that. Now, when I roll out my clay to make slabs, I use this weird little technique that I just kind of developed on my own. It probably already exists, but I basically try to keep my forearm on the table so that I know that it's the exact same height between where the handle is and the table so that my slab comes out nice and even. If you don't want to use this technique, you can always get some little spacers. They look like skinny pegs of wood, and you can buy them at specific heights or depths so that you know that you are rolling out to 1/4 of an inch or 1/8 of an inch. You can usually find these at a place like Home Depot or some other kind of home improvement store. Always remember to compress your slab with a rubber rib and make sure to lift your slab off the table one last time so that when you go to pick up your tiles after you've cut them, they are not stuck to the table. Here is an example test tile that I'm going to be using to base my size off of. I usually just eyeball it. Of course, remember that these will shrink. Also make sure that you don't make these too thin because if they are too thin, they will definitely warp in the kiln. I have had it happen time and time again. When you cut these out, make sure that you are leaving enough room for 6 swatches of underglaze, and you'll see why in just a little bit. Also, at the top, we are going to label them. Go ahead and get them roughly the same size. Again, just eyeballing it. This does not have to be perfect. I only need 12 of these, but make them according to your needs. And make sure that you clean up all your tiles before setting them aside to dry to leather hard. I then used a hole poker to make holes for me to hang them up later. Now, when you poke holes, make sure that you consider shrinkage and always make the hole bigger than you think you need to. Also, you want to try to make sure that you are making the hole far enough away from the corner so that the slab still has a bit of stability. And once they're dry, go ahead and put them in a bisque. Now, you've actually already seen me bisque these bad boys in my previous tutorial. So let's get on to the underglaze. If your underglaze is a little too thick, go ahead and just add a couple drops of water and mix until it's got that good consistency. I know this is an obscure reference, but you're looking for a restaurant style ranch type consistency where it's thick, but it's not too thick. On the front of these, I have already labeled and swatched all of my Ameko velvet underglazes, and now it is time for my Speedball. Once again, I am using my black underglaze pencil. Here it is, it's Ameko, and it can go up to a cone 10. These are so awesome to have, and if you missed my last video where I talked about my underglaze pencil, then you should know that these are kind of hard to write with, but I have found that if you dip the underglaze part of the pencil into some water before you write, it's a little bit easier and makes it a little bit more smooth. I've got all my underglazes lined out here, and what I'm going to do is actually do 6 swatches. The first 2 swatches are going to be 1 layer, the next 2 layers, and the next 3 layers. I'm doing 2 rows of this because I'm going to be clear glazing the top half and leaving the bottom half bare. If you've done things with underglazes before, you'll know that whenever you fire them the first time, they actually will turn a darker color. And then after you've glazed over it, it usually gets even darker than that. So by leaving half of them bare and half of them with clear glaze on it, you'll be able to know exactly how it's going to turn out whether you glaze it or not. You'll notice that I have put an abbreviation for the brand, SB for Speedball. Then I've got a number that's associated with this color and the name of the color. Sometimes a company will change the name of the color, but the number will stay consistent, so make sure that you put both. Also notice that I have an LF in the top left corner. That stands for low fire. Underglazes can be from cone 06 to cone 6. So make sure that you're writing low fire or high fire because it actually will change the color of the underglazes, whether it's low or high fire. Speaking of which, there is a high fire underglaze test tile video coming soon. And now let's glaze. And no, there has not been a firing between when I swatched and labeled and glazing because I'm doing this onto bisqueware. Now you can swatch and label onto greenware. However, labeling with an underglaze pencil is very hard to do on greenware. So you would have to paint your labels or risk not knowing what they are when they come out of the kiln. Make sure to be careful over the underglaze pencil because it has a tendency to smear. Cool, let's go ahead and get those fired and see how they come out. These little stilts help to keep the glaze off of the kiln shelf. However, when you take them off, they will leave a little bit of a rough spot on your piece. Ooh, those turned out nice. Here you can see the difference between the wet glazed and bare underglaze. And here is a failed high fire attempt where the underglaze and the high fire clear glaze did not play well with each other. And yes, white on white is important to have. Every color, my friends, swatch every color. And here's those little rough spots I was telling you about. And here's the rest of them. This one didn't have a color for the back. You can especially see the difference in colors in these purples. And for easy access, here's how I'm storing them on a plastic snap ring.
It's time to roll the bloopers.
It's gonna be slow and relaxing. Oops. There's a squirrel. Come here, Mr. Squirrely. Don't poop on me. Goodbye, Mr. Squirrel. That is it for today, folks. Thank you so much for stopping by my channel. If you'd like to check out other videos that I have, here's a video and here's a playlist. Maybe subscribe if you want to, because that'd be cool too. Other than that, I will see you in the next one. Bye.